Hi, I'm Ali Edwards and I'm a birth and postnatal doula within Doula UK. I've been invited to talk to you a little bit about my experience of supporting through neonatal loss. I think all of us begin this doula journey wondering if that's going to happen to us, how we will deal with that situation if it occurs. Will we say the right thing? Will we say the wrong thing? Where do we signpost them to? And so I hope this is helpful. I began supporting this couple through their second pregnancy. Their first pregnancy had resulted in a late-term loss. So doula support was really important to them and we really hit it off. We had a really good connection. Beautiful home water birth. Dad is now cradling baby. Midwives are packing away. Mum is upstairs in the shower and everything seems well. Dad suddenly realises that baby doesn't appear to be breathing, or at least is struggling to breathe. And so we get him on the floor. Midwives start working on him straight away, start giving baby compressions. They yell at us to call 999, which we do. I suddenly realise that I feel I really need to be with Mum at this point. She's still in the shower and she has no idea what's happening. So I leave Dad with the phone and I go upstairs. We meet on the stairs and I hold her and say, they're working on your baby. He's not breathing at the moment. We've called an ambulance. And she just crumbles and says, not again, just not again. She said, I can't go in there. So we don't go into the lounge, we go into the kitchen. We sit on the floor, I hold her, we're rocking. Just rocking, and after some time we hear a cry. We cry. Suddenly there's a release, a relief, everything's going to be okay. We get up, we go into the lounge. Baby is now breathing again, but obviously we're now going to get ready to go into hospital. Ambulance is on its way. I go outside to wave the ambulance down, to open the doors, bring their stuff in. And so they transfer into hospital and I drive behind. At this point, I phone my husband, have a proper cry, tell him what happened in the 10 minutes it takes me to get there. He does a really good job of bringing me down, calming me down so that I can get in a good place once I get there to support them further. Once we get to the hospital and we're settled, baby appears fine, he's alert. We're all just kind of hugging each other and crying and, so crikey, wasn't that a close one? Thank God the midwives just did such an amazing job, Their training was automatic, instant, and we were just impressed, really, in awe at how the machine works. It's quite clear that they're going to keep baby in, they're going to do tests, give baby antibiotics and so on. So whilst they get settled at special care, I go to their home so that I can quickly clear up, make sure their dog's okay, because I pushed him in a side room. Quick tidy up, grab their things and come on back to the hospital. So that's what I do. I think they're probably hungry. We're now lunchtime. This is 4 hours after birth. And I'm standing in the queue at the Costa in the hospital and I get a text from the dad which says, he's dying. Did you get the video and pictures? So I put everything back, obviously, drop what I've got. I text him that, yes, I've got it all, I'm coming to find you. I get to the special care with their things and I announce myself to the staff and I explain who I'm there for, that they may or may not want me in their space, but I have their things. Is there somewhere that they want me to, is there somewhere that I should go or put this? I know that I just can't leave, but I'm unsure of where I should be. Came back about 10 minutes later. In that time, I think I was I'm tired. I'm tired, emotionally tired, really drained. wondering what the hell I'm going to say to them. Because when I see them, their baby is either dying or dead. And I'm just not sure that I have the words. The staff come back after about 10 minutes and say they've asked you to come through. They'd like you to come through. Leave the things here. Come on through. What I noticed as I walked through the special care unit is that they have covered up all the other incubators. They've covered up all the other babies, so that there's almost a pathway, if you like, to where they are. They've put a screen around their area, if you like, to kind of section them off. And I come up behind them and I just wrap them around in my arms. And we hug. I give them both a kiss. We cry together. Mum is holding baby at this point, and it's clear to me that he's now passed away. Dad asks me if I will carry on videoing, if I have my phone. So I do. So I video them holding baby, talking to baby, giving them their goodbye messages. The staff they're trying very hard to keep it as pleasant as possible for the parents, because at this stage blood is now seeping from his nose and his ears and his mouth, and he's beginning to change colour a little. At that point, the staff asked me to stop videoing, and the dad asked me to keep going. So I did. I just carried on videoing. Until Mum said that she no longer wished to hold baby. They could take him now. She was done saying goodbye. And they were really good. The staff said, look, you can keep him for as long as you want to keep him. You can be with him for as long as you want to be with him. He can come into another side room with you. But she declined the offer. She felt that he didn't look like her little boy anymore, as he had changed so quickly. And so we were escorted, just us three, to the side room with their things. Another member of staff came in with leaflets for funeral directors, photographs, which they didn't seem keen on, but I reminded them that actually they're really tasteful, that they would be black and white, and that it's something that they could have. If they didn't wish to look at them again, then that would be up to them, but they might just to consider these things, because they might regret not doing these things later on. It's one thing that I have heard people saying again and again, that they didn't feel strong enough to do photographs or footprints, handprints, but they wished they had. Anyway, we were told that baby and placenta would be kept for a post-mortem, that in a case such as this, where it's unexplained and sudden, that there is no choice in that. That's just standard procedure, and that could take anything up to 12 weeks for any results to come back. Mum at this stage is keen to go home. She doesn't want to be in hospital. Her mum and dad are on their way to her house, to their home. So she knows her parents are there. But even so, the staff are unwilling to really, they're trying to encourage her to stay in hospital. They asked to have a word with me outside to get my side of what happened. So I talked through the birth again. I tell them I have a video, and they said, great. That'll show that everything was fine at birth. And then we're left. So we talk about how to separate the two events, that she could be proud of the birth, happy at the birth of her son, and then heartbroken at his death. And that I felt it was important for them to separate the events of the day and to not wrap it into one, because she birthed him. It was such a beautiful birth. And she smiled, it really was. I did really well, I birthed him really well. Yes, you did. She did. She birthed him amazingly well. Dad, because it was their second loss, just said, Ali, are we cursed? Is this how it is for us? And I said, you're not cursed, you're just unlucky. I think you're just unlucky. It certainly taught me as a doula that I can't ever say now, what are the chances? It's so unlikely it would happen again. It was just, because you know what, actually, sometimes it does. Sometimes it does. And I had a period of time, I know in the days after, where I said to my husband, how do I doula now? How do I doula now when I'm encouraging people to wait it out, to not be induced, to trust their bodies, to keep the faith? How do I do that knowing what I know now? And he said, well, you just do. That's your job. That's why you do what you do. This is one instance in 120 births. So we do. We just spend some time, most of the afternoon, watching the video of his birth, hugging, crying, talking about how chubby he was, how strong he was, and how pissed off she was that actually, no, not pissed off, how angry now she was that she was very conscious that now people would know she had a home birth and her baby died, when actually the two events were very separate. She was very aware of that, very conscious of that when she saw people, that's what they were going to know. Those were the facts that they were going to boil it down to. After about half an hour of waiting, and they had already made an appointment for a midwife to come and see them the next day at home. And I think the staff were just leaving us there for as long as they could, because they just really didn't want us to go home at this stage. They were just worried about them just being alone at home. So after about half an hour, Mum just said, I just don't want to be here, can I go? And I said, yeah, it's not a prison. If you want to go, let's go. You've made an appointment for tomorrow, somebody's coming to see you. I'm not sure what more there is to do. And so we do. We leave. I leave them at their car. They even wanted to pay for my car parking. I remember that. And I drove home. When I got home, now my husband knew that there had been an issue, and he knew we were on our way to hospital. When I got home, I told him that he had died, and he took me upstairs, he ran me a bath, and he left me in it. Got me a cup of tea, got me some food, and handed me the phone. I phoned the Doula Support Network, I phoned Siobhan, and I talked through what had happened. She was very gracious and listened to me whilst I cried and ranted about how unfair it was. Over 2 months later, they got in touch. We'd been in touch on and off. Mum got in touch to say that the postmortem had come back and the diagnosis was idiopathic pulmonary hemorrhage, which affects something like 1 in 1.5 million babies at birth. A congenital condition. Most live. He did not. They felt that had he been in hospital, he would not have survived either, and that was a relief for them to know that it was nothing that they had done that had caused his death. It was good to know that the video and pictures that I sent them is something that they cherish still to this day, because we're still in touch, and that it helped and is helping to get them through. Nobody, I think what was important to them is that people see him, people know him, and they feel like, I know that they feel like I was one of the only people to have met him. So I think there'll always be a connection there, an exchange in energy, a connection that is unbreakable. I think we'll forever be in touch, and their openness, their sharing with me, them inviting me into their home openly, selfishly has helped me heal. They have made it very easy for me to support them. They invited me to his funeral, where we all spent the day. Actually, it was a beautiful sunny day, which initially made her really cross, but we were able to sit out in the garden and just talk amongst her family and friends about him and about the birth that she was really so proud of. And I think it's quite usual for people to think ahead and say, well, the next one I'll have to be in hospital. You can't ever do this again. I suppose you'll have a cesarean next time. They were already talking that way. And so we had left it at that point that, look, you don't need to make any decisions now. That's all in the future. You need to get mentally strong. You need to get physically strong. As well as a video and pictures of his birth, I sent them links to SAMS, and I sent them links to Towards Tomorrow Together, which is a charity that supplies memory boxes if they felt there was anything missing or lacking from the hospital box that they've been supplied with. They didn't feel that was necessary in this instance, but I know they found SAMS very helpful. I leaned on my husband and my family and the Doula support network going forwards. And I thought that the next birth that I attended would be, well, I don't know, I was, quite anxious about the next birth that I would attend and what I would bring with me, and if I would bring anything with me. And actually, in the moment, I had nothing with me. I didn't bring any baggage with me. I know I was fully present at that birth. So I think once I got the next birth after that out of the way, not that I was healed or that I had forgotten or I was better, but I knew that it didn't affect my doulaing, that I was processing it in a healthy way. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope that helps.